you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you, man. First off, is regular starting lineup, or at least the last starting lineup from the last game, still for today?
Yes, sir.
All right, and so Derrick Rose you coached him for a period there in Cleveland, and it seemed like after those days, like he's kind of rebuilt his game, and especially this season, like rebuilt his game even more with this year's Knicks team. Like, what have you observed from Derrick, especially given the perspective of you guys working together before?
Just when he's healthy, he still can play. And when he's in Cleveland with us, the first 7 games, we were a really good team, and he really played well for us. And then he got hurt, and so he got hurt. And he was out for a long period of time, and that kind of messed with him mentally. But when D Rose, he's still young. I think he's like 31 still, and still has the pace, still can get to the basket. He's improved his shooting, but he's still a hell of a player, when he's healthy. So I'm excited for him. I was, kind of disappointed when we lost him because we had a good, me and him had a good thing, had a good relationship going. So just happy for D Rose, and being back with Tibbs, being back at home, I would say has been really good for him.
Thanks. We'll go next to you, Mason.
Hey, Ty. I want to talk about when you talk about clutch minutes. You guys earlier on the season kind of struggled in terms of clutch minutes, and since then you've righted the ship. You guys are 500 in terms of games decided with 5 points in 5 minutes or less. How much of clutch time is just luck and just guys' shots either going in or not going in? How much of it is executing down the stretch and actually getting shots you want?
A lot of it is execution because, you got to get the ball to the guys you want to get it to. And when you do that, we just got to make the right play and the right read. If teams are going to double team, we got to make the right pass and right play. If teams are going to play head up, that's when your great players come into play. And PG and Kawhi making a play for themselves or their teammates. So, you want to make sure you're running the right stuff. You want to make sure you're getting guys in the right place and right spots. But then after that, it's really out of your control.
Do you feel like you guys are trending in the right direction in terms of your clutch execution this year?
Yes, for sure. Like I said, the first half of the season, just trying to figure it out, being a new team, new coach, new style, just figuring out spacing, where the guys want the ball on the floor. And the second half of the season, like you said, we've been a lot better. And we just got to just continue to keep working on it. We've done it in practice. We've done it in the games. We know who we want to go to. We know where we want to get the ball to. And now we just have to make the right play when we do that.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks. We'll go next to Andrew.
Morning, Ty. I hope you're doing well. You mentioned last week game when you played Luke with that off the bench early over Terence that you wanted more spacing, and because the 3-point shooting numbers aren't all that high with Rondo and Cousins, that pairing, those lineups. Like, do you feel like playing Luke with those two is something you might have to do more often just to keep the floor spread a little bit, or do you envision playing Terence with those two also down the stretch?
Well, like I said, we're getting everybody back healthy. That's what I wanted to see. We took a look at Terence, for a few games, and then we wanted to take a look at Luke with that second unit as well, just kind of see how they mesh and how they play together. So last game, really wasn't a lot of time or a lot of, to take away from, but, we want to just keep going forward, just giving Luke an opportunity to do that and play with the second unit and see how it looks. We'll see going forward, and then we got to make a change. We will. We want to give both guys an opportunity to kind of see who fits well with who.
Thanks.
Thanks. Next to James Herbert.
Hey, Ty, I want to ask you about Terence Mann. Last year you guys were using him as a point guard primarily. This year, I don't know what I would call his position, right? Like you got setting picks for guys, running pick and roll. Like, how would you describe his role or his position for this team?
Just a basketball player. The 1, 2, 3, 4 at times. Just get him on the floor because he makes things happen. I think defensively, he's really taking a step forward, taking a challenge of guarding the best player, every night. He really improved his three-point shooting, 41% three-point shooter right now. And attacking the basket, getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line. He's really done a good job with. So just his overall improvement this season has been great. And so, like I said, he's been great for us all season with guys being in and out of the lineup.
When you have such a versatile team and guys that are interchangeable, can play multiple positions, like when you're thinking about lineups and rotations, are you even thinking in terms of traditional or conventional positioning anymore?
Well, just we talk about it all season, just making the play after the play. So you can pretty much run generic offense, but once the play starts, now you got to understand drive, kick, swing, get into the paint, making a play for your teammate, and just make sure we have our right spacing. So my guys have done a great job with that. Like I said, with PG and Kawhi, being out a lot, those guys have really stepped up and just played the game the right way. And it just started from day one. With our coaching staff, we're just preaching about getting to the paint, making a play for your teammates and for yourself, and attacking the basket. And the first, half of the season, we struggled with getting to the rim, getting to the paint, not a lot of rim attacks. But after that, in the second half of the season, we've really done a good job and made a concerted effort to try to get to the basket as much as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next to Mark Berman. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, Tyrone. Such low expectations for the Knicks going into the season. How surprised are you? There's 7 games over 500 this late in the season.
I'm sorry, could you say it again, please?
Such low expectations for the Knicks going into the season. How surprised are you that there's 7 games over 500 this late?
Oh, not surprised. I know Tibbs coming in was going to change the culture. What he brings, to a team as a coach. I knew they was going to be prepared. I knew it was going to be accountability. I knew his teams would play hard. I knew they would be great defensively, and he's done that. And the younger guys have bought into it. And it starts with Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett. Those 2 young guys have really bought into what Tibbs is selling. And if you do that, if you see going, throughout the course of Tibbs' career as a coach, every team that's bought in has been successful. And you can see this with this team, and it starts with Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett are really buying in. And then having, guys like Taj Gibson, who played for Tibbs, and Derrick Rose as well, who also knows what he brings, and they can kind of hold that locker room together, because they know and understand Tibbs' culture.
Thanks. We'll go next to Joseph.
Hey, Ty. So today obviously is the last home game of the season. And then you end the year with everybody's favorite, a 4-6 on the road. With guys still kind of working their way back and getting off minutes limits, are you going to focus on rest or conditioning in these last 5 games?
It doesn't really matter because you're going to get, a week off anyway to start the playoffs. And so I think the most important thing for us is just making sure we're healthy. We want to solidify our spot, in the playoffs, trying to get that 3rd seed. And once we do that, we got to think about making sure guys are healthy, going into the playoffs. So I'll take health over rust, any day, just from my experiences in Cleveland. And, these guys are figured out. The NBA players have been playing for a long time. So they'll be able to get their rhythm back. But if our team is healthy, I really like our chances.
Thanks. Time for one more. Justin, go ahead and close us out.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon. The data with Reggie, Rondo, and Nick on the court together looks extremely promising for the team so far in their time together. What have you seen with that trio that has impressed you, especially when they play alongside either Kawhi or PG?
I think, whenever you can play with 2 point guards, Rondo, he's a smart player. Reggie's a smart player. They both can push the basketball and, get into the paint, create for themselves and create for others. So whenever you have 2 point guards on the floor, I'm a little biased, but I've always liked that. I've always liked that look. And, Rondo pushing the pace, Reggie being able to score off the ball, PG on the floor, Kawhi on the floor, those guys, they're pretty dynamic, being able to push the pace, generate easy baskets. And that's what Reggie and Rondo have done when they were on the floor together.